Hey everybody, Bill Caskey here. Glad you're joining me today. We go live every day at 8:30 on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and maybe some other platforms I don't know about. People are pirating this all over the world, I understand. So I'm glad you're with me today. This is challenge week for us at Caskey. We're doing a 5-day $1 million seller challenge. I'm going to tell you about the next one, which starts in May, but I don't think we're quite ready to take registrations for that though. So anyway, I will be talking to you about that in the next few days. I don't know if you ever feel like sometimes your lead generation efforts are either lackadaisical, ineffective. Maybe you feel like, man, I'm always fighting this. I'm always fighting the algorithm, as we say, that this idea that I've got to find new prospects. I know they're out there. They're trickling in now, but I never feel like I really have a full pipeline of qualified prospects. If you're a leader, you may feel the same way. You may feel like, I'm always trying to get my people to go out and do the behavior, do the business, create network, referrals, all things like that. But it never seems to be enough nudging or pushing or haranguing. It never seems to work. And so in today's video training, I want to share with you blind spots that I think we all have. And I'm sure you do, because I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands of people on this very topic. And whenever a company invites me in to come in and work with them for a period of time, lead generation is almost always at the top of the list. Almost always. Maybe not the top, but it's one of the top 3 problems. And so I want to address that today, but I want to address it through what I call blind spots. And that is these things, you know what a blind spot is, these things that we don't even know are available to us, that we're not even conscious of, we're totally oblivious to, that can really help you. So let's talk about that here. The first blind spot, and this is part of a series that we're doing here, and I think we talked about this yesterday, this income ascension strategy. You want to earn more money. You want to use your talents better. You want to use your time better. You want to leverage all these instruments, these assets that you have. In order to do that, to generate more income, you need these 5 things. And today we're going to talk about lead generation. A couple of days ago, we talked about mindset and then personal strategy, lead generation. We'll finish on Friday talking about lead conversion. Probably won't go into client maximization because that's too complicated for a 15-minute conversation. So what's problem number 1? Blind spot number 1 is they have, I'm going to say you, but I'm not trying to insinuate you don't, but you to the camera have no lead generation device. You have no device that's going to help someone go from, I didn't know you exist, to, oh, so that's what I need help with. Oh, so that's what my problems might be. You don't have any kind of a lead device. What you do, or your team does, if you're a leader, is you rely on the phone. You rely on outreach, personal outreach. You say, Bill, by golly, there's nothing that beats personal outreach. If we could just get in front of more people. Yeah, well, of course, if you can get in front of more people, you're probably going to do better. But you can't get in front of those people today. And when you're doing cold outreach, calling 100 people, which nobody ever does, I know always use that example that, if you're going to call 100 people and have 10 conversations and 3 turn into appointments and 1 turns into a proposal. And I know, I've heard the cookbook many times. I used to teach it. I used to use it until I realized nobody does it. Nobody does it. There might be 1 in 100 who actually make the required number of cold calls necessary, but then they burn themselves out and have to go to therapy later on in life because of all the rejection and all the wasted effort. Wasted effort. I don't want you to waste your talent on cold calls. It's stupid. There's too many other vehicles. So the question is, do you have an introductory device? A device that is free and valuable and easy to acquire for your prospect? Do you have something like that? And I'm not talking about an email newsletter that addresses all the great things your company is doing and all the babies that were born in your company. That's great. I love babies. I've got a 10-month-old grandchild and 2 7-year-olds. I love babies. Not to put in a newsletter, though. They don't care about your team. They care about one thing, their own life. Your introductory device, whatever that is, whether it's a video, a PDF, a checklist, or whatever, needs to speak to them in their language, not in your marketing language. They cannot understand your marketing language. And when you go to a marketing department, I've had this happen so many times in the last year. You take this idea of, Bill's right. We do need something that kind of warms the feathers and kind of gets people into our process. And you go to the marketing department, what do? They create a brochure. It's not a brochure. Come on, guys. It's not a brochure. It's a lead generation device that speaks to them in their language, talking about their issues and gives them value. Okay. That's number one blind spot. We don't do that. Very few people do that. If you rely on your marketing department to do that, good luck. It'll never happen. And when it does happen, it'll be awful. You got to do this yourself. Come on. You got to do this yourself. Number two, there's another blind spot. They do not create a sequence of events that goes from cold to client, cold to client, cold to warm, warm to medium warm, warm to hot, boiling, client, whatever metaphor you want to use. There is no process. We do not have most people, the blind spot is we have no process. Here's the process. Let's go call as many people as we can, book as many appointments as we can, and let's see who we can sell to. That's your process. That's a terrible process. Now you'll say, but Bill, it works. And I will say, it works to a point, but the lid is on your potential. The lid is totally on your potential. You can't get to $1 million a year if you're at 100 grand a year now and you're making 1,000 calls a month or whatever you say you're making, that we all know you're not, but nobody does. I used to lie too. I used to say I was making a lot of calls and I really wasn't. Lie to myself, lie to my family, lie to my manager. Embarrassed to say, but I did. We all do, because nobody makes these calls. Have I said that before? Of course I have. So if you want to go from 100,000 a year to 500 to $1 million, whatever that is, this is not about shaming anybody for being happy with 100 grand at all. But if you want to stay at 100 grand, or if you want to gradually work your way up to higher levels, you can't just do it analog. You can't do it from implementation, from muscle, from grinding, and you will burn yourself out. So I don't want you to do that. So you've got to have some kind of a sequence of events that takes people from where they are to where they want to be. Number three, you do not fully understand the plight of the prospect. Most people really don't. Sales people, marketing people, we know about our product. We're familiar with all that information, but we don't understand the plight of the prospect. Be obsessed with their plights and circumstances and dilemmas. Be obsessed with them. Well, I do, as I've said, I do the $1 Million Seller Program on Wednesday. The third day, we always talk about lead generation, and obviously much more depth than we're going into here. And I give them an exercise and several exercises. And one is to title a document and not write it, just title it, that you believe would speak directly to the prospect's pain. Directly, like boom, head on. Can't do it. People can't do it. And it's not because we're dumb. It's not because we don't have good IQs. It's because we have to put ourselves in another frame of reference, in another person's body and eyes. And if we're to do that, we've got to get out of ourselves. You know how hard getting out of yourself is? It's very difficult. Trust me, I know. And so when we seek to create something that is valuable for them, we have to get ourselves out of the equation and get right smack dab in the middle of their heart and their mind. And if we don't understand the plight of the prospect, we will not be able to put something together that's useful for them, nor will we be able to message them either. You know, the national closing percentage of business to business sales is, 10, 20% max. I think it's probably lower than that. But anyway, 10 to 20, let's just say lower than 20%. It means 80% of the time you're spending with people who are never going to buy. That's fine. I mean, it's fine. If you like people and you like to be around people, but it seems like a total time suck to me. I don't want to be around people who are not going to buy. I don't want to discount them. I don't want to blow them off. But if somebody comes to me and says, hey, Bill, I want you to come in and work with my team, and we start talking and just things don't work out for whatever reason. Maybe it's not the right time. They thought it was and it's not. They're bringing in new people. They say, let's wait. I understand. I'm not going away, but I'm not going to spend time chasing them. I might put them on an email list. I might even put them on a special email list, like a wait list kind of thing. That might be something you have in your business, especially. It's a really good idea, actually. If you have a lot of people who you're talking to or your team is talking to, and things don't work out for whatever reason, create a separate email list of those people. You might only have 100, 200 people on it, but these are people who have been down the sales process to a point. These are probably more likely prospects than a cold person who's also on your email list. See, what we do is we take that person we've had some rapport with, we've been talking to, hey, what's going on? Hey, and if things just don't work out for whatever reason, I'm not pissed at people for that. But you take that name and you pop it into a massive email list, and they're just like everybody else getting the same stuff. No, take that name, put it into a separate list, and email them accordingly. Number 4, the blind spot is they put all their eggs in one basket. They put all their eggs in one basket. Let me share with you something that we talk about a lot in our training, and almost nobody does this. I'd say most people don't have this. And if you do this and you execute on it, and I'd be glad to help you if you want, but if you execute on some type of a lead Parthenon, some type of a system that has several different sources of leads, you will scale your business to heights beyond which you never thought you could. But the problem is lead generation. And you put all your eggs in the cold call basket or one basket. Maybe there's one. Maybe it's not cold calling. Maybe it's just networking. Networking events used to be the big hot thing. I remember back in the day, as we say. Maybe it's networking. But you've got to have several different sources. If you don't, leads dry up quickly when there's only one source. So that's a huge blind spot. When you sit down with your sales team next, draw the Parthenon on a piece of paper, number them 1 through 7 or whatever, and ask your team, what are the sources of leads? And if there are sources that are not, like one source might be referrals. Somebody may say, well, we get, I've had 5 referrals this week. Okay, good. What are we doing to promote that? Are we doing anything, or does it just happen almost by default, by accident? What if you did something there? And I'm not talking about paying. People always jump to, well, I'm not going to pay referrals. Did I say anything about paying referrals? I don't want to pay referrals unless you're in an affiliate marketing spot where, they're referring their big list to you. Maybe there's an affiliate sponsorship or cut. I'm just talking about helping, just bringing value to them. Maybe you ask your current clients to invite a referral to a meeting, to an online meeting, to a event. Maybe you hire an expert in your business, and it's just for you. It's not a public event. It's just for you to invite your prospects to. And if you're in the heavy equipment business, maybe there's somebody who's like a mensch, who's just a heavy equipment studette, and you hire them and you pay them a couple grand and you invite 100 of your prospects, and now you're hosting the party. So that's another opportunity. Don't put all your eggs in the cold call basket. Spread it out a little bit. All right, number 5. This is a big blind spot. Number 5, you sell, but you do not educate. You sell, but you do not educate. I mean, that's what we're doing here in this LinkedIn Live every day. I come and I hopefully bring some morsel of education to you. Some of you don't like it. Some of you feels like, okay, Bill's teaching the same thing he always has. Yeah, I am. Some of these things are the same, but some are not. But I try to educate every day. And I do it through the podcast. I do it through this. And so when we introduce the $1 Million Seller Challenge, which we're, as I said earlier, we're in the middle of, we have 50, 60, 80 people to show up. When we introduce a webinar, we have 100 people pay. The reason we do that is not because we're great copywriters. It's because I've put a lot of input. I've put a lot of deposits into the bank account. And so when I say we've got something special, you say, yeah, okay, yeah, I like what Bill's doing. So, maybe we should pay him some money to do it. So that's what I would recommend for you, is you start educating. It's a big blind spot. Most companies do not do this. So I have 5 things. There's no introductory device, big blind spot. Number 2, you don't have a sequence of events that takes people through the process. And I'm not talking about a sales process necessarily. I'm talking about the marketing and sales, the entire client acquisition process. Think about it as a client process. Number three, they don't fully understand the plight of the customer. We try to deliver messages that has nothing to do with them, has only something to do with us. Number four, put all their eggs in one basket, cold call basket, networking basket. They don't spread out the risk. And number five, they don't educate, they just sell. So hopefully that's helped. Here, once again, is the five-step framework, income ascension strategy. You got to get all of these right. And underneath each one of these are sub-bullet points and strategies and things like that, which we don't have time to go into today. If you're interested in the $1 Million Seller Challenge for next month, you can go to $1 Million Seller Challenge. It is for sales professionals, business owners, marketing people who want to really get intensely focused on how to grow their business. It's 5 days. It's 1 hour a day. It's inexpensive. There's also an upgrade. If you want to do a little bit more coaching each day, you can get in on that. Go to $1MillionSellerChallenge.com. And if the dates are still this week, they'll be changing in the next 24 hours. So hopefully that helps you. I remain Bill Caskey. I'll see you tomorrow. Caskey Live, 8:30. Spread the word on this, by the way. Comment, share this. If you like it. If you don't. But if you like what we say, make a comment. I'd love to hear from you. All right.